Okay. There's one consent, right? And that's a resolution authorizing amendment to the contracts of sale of 6 properties to AAA1 Properties Corporation by Alderwoman Collins. And Mary, you want to just answer?
Sure. As you know, we've been pursuing this arrangement with this gentleman for a while now. And as of today, after speaking with Code Inspector Grant Eagleston and Fire Chief Agresta, we feel all of the protections the city needs are in place to move forward with this agreement. And I will remind everybody, the general terms are, he is buying 6 of the worst properties in the city of Amsterdam. These are properties that were scheduled for demolition. He is paying us $5,000 per property, and he will do that on Friday when he picks up the deeds. He is going to, and he has in place, and Tony has looked at it, a bond which would pay us, the city, $50,000 per property if he fails to complete the property based on the agreement that he signed, the purchasing agreement. He's giving us a personal guarantee, and there's also a clause in there that he wants the option of demolishing the property himself, right? Should he not complete it, rather than, so he can keep the property. So we've got tremendous, when I say tremendous, we have a lot of protection in there, but the bottom line is these are properties that are ready to go, ready to be demolished anyway, that he's gonna fix. And I will say that the 2 properties that he already owns, the one property on Division Street, we've all seen that, and he's got one up on Market Street. Again, Grant Eagleston has assured me, has talked to me about their meeting on Friday to clear up any open code violations on Market Street. Division Street has been totally rectified. So based on all that, I am recommending to the council that you consider and approve this resolution, because we have very, 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 if anything, to lose and so much to gain. If he fixes the properties, that'd be fantastic, and he has done so with a few already in our city. If he doesn't fix the properties, we have the guarantees and the instruments we need to get a big chunk of money to be able to demolish them. Any questions?
Thank you, Rick. Okay, we'll go to our first resolution, approving the minutes of the common council. All right, adopting the minutes of the common council. Thank you, City Clerk. Any questions, anyone? Thank you very much. Next, resolution 40, approving golf course fees and rates for the Amsterdam Golf Course for the 23 season. Common Council, having received recommendations from the Golf Commission regarding proposed fees and rates for 2024 at the municipal golf course. Rates and fees proposed by the Commission are subject to approval and ratification by the Common Council. A copy of the proposed rates and fees for the 2024 season being attached to be incorporated here by reference. And resolved that the rates and the fees for the 2024 season are set forth in the attached rate proposal. And they're on the back of your sheet. Just to give you some information, Mayor and I attended a meeting on Monday. Alderman Gamul was also there. And we listened to all the talk of the golfers, which they really had some good points. And following that meeting, Mayor and I met in his office the next day, and we went over a few things, such as a contract for Lance Orca, the golf fees, and other things as a follow-up. Then, about a week later, the Golf Commission, the mayor, I, and Steve Gamul met again with the Golf Commission to find out how we feel about going forward. And this is what they came up with: the preferred customer program, the unlimited pass program. All the members of the Golf Commission were there except for Chris Sherlock, the Golf Pro, Jeff was there, Scott Warren, our consultant, the mayor, and we heard input from all members of the commission, all the pros and cons of what we do, and we've been back for about an hour and a half on what we should do as far as the fees. The main point to bring out was, why are we doing this? Why are we changing the rates now? Well, one of the things that was brought about in the audit is every year the Golf Commission loses money. Every year. And if you look at our budget for the last 3 years, you'll see where we had an interfund transfer of like $250,000 every year. So the auditors picked it up. And the auditors said, you gotta do something about this, right, Louise? And so the commission, we went to the commission and said, okay, you gotta do something, we have to raise money somehow. And this is what they came up with. Now, this is from the commission, the golf pro, the consultant. And Mary, you can elaborate more on that meeting.
Well, I was thinking, as I'm reading through this, and I did not look closely at the unlimited pass program. We were gonna lower that $30 to $20.
20, yes.
And what happened, it says 30 here.
It says 30, but I see it also. I think they left that to you, Mary. What do you thought? Because remember they had the 2,400, remember? And we shot that down.
No, again, and I had since spoken to Scott, and we had discussed, he was gonna present it to the golf commission for the unlimited, the $1,500.
I would
That instead
recommend,
of paying 30, they were gonna pay the same as the $500 people for
and
the round.
and truthfully, I think that's a good idea.
Well, Scott's gonna be here later, so,
He's outside. Yeah.
okay, so we can clear that up, because I think that should be 20.
Yeah, he's in the.
Oh,
Why is it?
Yeah.
Chairman, you want me to?
could you please?
Yeah. They're not on there.
I think these are the new pieces. I'll ask you to speak. Scott, look, we're discussing the fee schedule right now. So can you step up at the podium, all right?
The unlimited pass program, Scott, I thought we had talked about lowering that 30 to 20.
Say that again, sir?
The unlimited pass program for the $1,500 membership fee.
Yep.
I thought we had lowered the additional fee from 30 to 20 in our last discussion.
That is correct. That was the revised proposal I emailed in.
Okay, so,
So it
I'll
says
make a
30
amendment.
here.
I can make an amendment. Right.
Yeah, so I had sent that in to, as the last email I sent in said that that was the final proposal and that revised it to 20,
Okay,
which is I brought a copy of that with me here.
all right, I did? Okay, well then we'll amend this to 20. I was just on the point of explaining why we have to do this, and that's because we're losing money every year in the golf course. And this is the reason why we changed the rate, right? If you want to talk about this, go right ahead, Scott.
Sure. So, when I was hired as a consultant, the first question I asked was, what was the goal of the golf course? Was it to lose money? Was it to make money? Was it to break even? Then my time spent in the fall was watching, reviewing, seeing how the operation ran, seeing where things could be optimized, so forth, and making evaluations. Then I went about, you can go online, I reviewed the state audit. I saw that, for at least 15 straight years, the golf course has lost money. Over the past few years, that average has been over $250,000. So my assessment was to fix the problem, things would have to change. And there are a lot of things that need to be fixed and changed there. I've had great support from the mayors. We've discussed these things that, we need to fix the cart paths, that the size of our golf cart fleet is no longer adequate. And so we have to turn away business on weekends and holidays. Obviously, we've got to address the clubhouse and the patio issue. We're trying to get the driving range up and running and make that a source of revenue. We're evaluating the fee structure, which is the point of this conversation tonight. And then we also have to work to increase the number of leagues and outings at the golf course. And I just want to make it clear, at no point have I ever said that the entire fix should revolve around just charging the loyal season member pass holders more money. That wouldn't be fair. Those individuals, of which there's about 160 right now, can't possibly shoulder that entire burden to fix that. So the proposed resolution has three primary goals. One, to developer promotion to increase the loyal Muni customer base to generate more revenue. That would be the $500 join plan with a $20 copay when they play. That's a promotion. That's designed to get more people to come to Muni more often and develop more revenue that way. Number two would be to increase the cost per round played by high volume golfers. Right now, that rate for a lot of people is under $20 a round. I'm not trying to make it a full greens fee rate. I'm just trying to increase it. And then the last thing is to maximize the income potential at the most marketable and coveted times at any golf course. And that would be weekend and holiday mornings. All right, so those would be the goals, to maximize the income potential at the most marketable coveted times, weekends and holidays prior to 12 p.m. is similar to what the ski industry does, right? You can get a weekday pass at the ski industry, and then if you want to ski on weekends and holidays, there's a more premium rate for that. So in a nutshell, my goal is to improve the bottom line of the golf course so that this generation of golfers and future generations of golfers can enjoy this Robert Trent Jones Senior Classic. And if you're losing $250,000 a year, there's maybe not many more generations that are going to enjoy it. So,
Scott,
so
can I
that's
just
the goal.
interrupt you for a minute, because every time you say that, a bunch of that $250,000 is associated with debt or torts, correct?
So in the proposal I did at the town hall meeting,
Yeah.
the regular, if we just called it the operational expenses, that's about 750,000 right now.
That's
If you
without
look
any
at-
debt.
$400,000 for Brightview, about $150,000 for payroll. Then you have the lease on the golf carts. You have to pay for fuel for the golf carts. You have to pay for kerosene. You have insurance fees. So all of that, and then you have payroll taxes. So that's going to be somewhere between 700 and 750,000.
And what is the debt? The debt payment is what?
So your debt payments on that, the indebtedness in 2023 was $96,645.
That was your payment,
That was the
assessment.
interfund transfer was 200 and some thousand dollars, right? So if your gross income, which for the fiscal year that ended June 30th was $589,000, that was a 9% increase from the previous year. Yet that still is $160,000 short of covering your operational expenses. So that's the point of the proposals, is to help. And when we look at right now your revenue stream, right now 40%-ish of your income comes from memberships. So the other 60% right now comes from your golf cart fees, your greens fees, your outing carts, your outing greens fees, and your league fees. Okay, so it's about 60%. So if you looked at the shortfall and you evaluated it and said, well, all we're really trying to do is get the members, which represent 40% of the income, to help fix something close to 40% of the problem. The rest of it, we have to find other ways to fix. We have to get a cart fleet that is sufficient enough for us to fill every tee time on weekends and holidays, which is our prime time. Those tee times get valued at $55 a person, $220 a foursome. So that's the point of the resolutions, is to try to bring up the cost per round played by high volume golfers, to have a marketable plan to grow our membership, all right, and to find a way, and that would be the $20 co-pays, to maximize our income potential on weekend prime times. And then any of those tee times that are not booked by season member pass holders, then those can be booked out at $55 a person, $220 a foursome.
That's very good. And like I said, I know Chris Sherlock wasn't at the commission, But all the other members of the commission are in favor?
Yes, sir.
They're all in favor?
Yes, sir.
And our golf pro Jeff?
Yes, sir.
And I want to thank you for all the work you've done.
My
But I'll
pleasure.
just open up real quick. Any other questions?
Sure, thank you for joining us today. I definitely see some benefits to this program, and I'm glad that you came here to explain it to us because it was already being promoted on the website before we were being told about it, which is a problem to this council. I've listened to many sides of this argument. My goal is to preserve the history and beauty of the golf course. It's a gift to us, something that is very unique to our area. I think we need to be financially responsible, and I think we need to make the golf course a more open and inclusive place. And I do think this $500 preferred level does do that. It makes it more accessible to people and usable. But I have kind of a perspective of someone who first started as not really understanding what the big deal was about the golf course, to someone who really fell in love with the place through her experience in golfing there and spending time in the clubhouse and things like that. So I'd like to propose a happy medium in this. I know there's financial difficulties, and I appreciate that you're attempting to tackle those. I think a lot of them you adopted, you inherited. Things were very complicated when you got here with trail fees, carts, who can have carts, who can't have carts, how much that costs, this age range, that age range, like all of that is far too complicated for most people to deal with, and I like the simplification of this. It keeps things simple. But the other request I'm really hearing from golfers is they'd like to remain being called members. And I don't think that that's too much to ask. They've been dedicated and loyal to the course. They've paid when things were good. They've paid when things were bad. And I also don't think that it's fair that someone would lose the status of being able to be a member, an unlimited member with those additional fees. Like, I'm not against these additional fees, because they couldn't do it for a year, because maybe they had a medical or a financial struggle, or, we've had a few shakeups over the years and we've lost members due to that. And maybe people are ready to come back, and we should be welcoming them back. We should be growing the membership. I keep hearing you talk about the members, having more members, growing this. So we've got to call them members. So I really want to amend this to call it members. And I want to get rid of the grandfather clause, because I just don't think it's fair. Like, if you break your leg or someone gets sick in your family, that you would have to pay the annual fee that year so that you can continue to be a member in the future. And these memberships are an asset to any kind of organization. We hear at the beginning of every budget cycle with the golf course that we need to do a transfer contingency in the contingency budget to get started on the golf season until the memberships come in, right? It's until that influx of that first piece of cash comes in to the golf course. And that is the same for Proctor's Theater, for aquariums and zoos. Like, I have membership cards to everything that has animals in a 3-mile radius, because that's what my children are into. And within 2 visits, that membership has paid for itself. That shouldn't be the case with the golf course. I get it, but they get you in. There's people there, other people want to come, and those people spend money when they get there. It also helps with promotion. You can tell a sponsor, I've got 200 members. It'll help get a good concessionaire. We're gonna need a new concessionaire after this year. We have 200 members. They have families. They're gonna have birthday parties. They're gonna have wedding showers and stags and baby showers and fundraisers and graduation parties. I miss being able to have that at the Muni Clubhouse. If you had this strong membership that had a loyalty and a connection to the place, they'd be having it at that concessionaire more often. That's a selling point to getting a really good concessionaire for our next contract. It builds community. It allows people to buy in and spend their money, buy into something that you stand for. I believe in this golf course, so I'm going to invest in it. And again, producing reoccurring revenue, predictable income. You're right, I don't want to stress those 40% of people saying they have to fix all the problems, but isn't it great that 40% of our income can be figured out before the season, before it rains, before it snows, before we can open or close it. And so I think that's important. So my suggestion tonight for my colleagues is just to change the title of the Unlimited Pass program to a membership and to get rid of the grandfather clause in here. I think there's no
Excuse me, what is
pain
the
in letting.
what is the grandfather clause, Charlie? I don't understand.
Anybody who is not, anybody who lets their lifetime membership pass cannot get, they're unlimited, cannot get back into it.
And that's been going on for a few years, I think prior to Mr. Warren, that was put into place. And I think, people should be able to come back, especially when they see how good it is, when
So
we
you want to
see
make
how
an
great.
amendment?
Right, yeah, I'd like to amend those things, and I think that could be a happy
Okay,
medium
so what do you want to
with
amend
this.
on this?
I'd like to change the Unlimited Pass program to be called a membership.
Okay, that isn't part of the resolution, right?
Well, no, I mean,
It's on,
everything
it's on the fee schedule.
No, I meant the second thing. It's-
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, we've got a fee schedule, and the fee schedule is not correct,
Huh?
because it says,
This is what they're.
the fee schedule is incorrect because it has $30 on it, right? We don't have the updated fee schedule in the
It should be
packet.
20.
It should be 20.
Right,
On the line where it says unlimited pass program participants can play golf on the weekend holiday mornings, opening 11:30, and a reduced payment of $3. That should be 20.
that should be,
So make that amendment.
so that, and
That
that
is right.
is the $1,500, right?
That's right. All this is
27.
right except for you did
Okay.
the $20.
Okay,
Everything else is right. And you want to change that, look where it says unlimited pass program,
to membership.
membership pass program?
She wants to call it
Just call it
membership.
a membership, yeah. You can get a preferred customer program, or you can have a membership.
What you tell me.
Well, the first one's the preferred customer program, so that,
Okay.
that name can remain the
So
same,
that
right?
can't be
People can
membership.
choose that, or they can choose a membership. And we just change Unlimited Pass program to membership. And then at the bottom in bold, there's that you can't come back if you've chosen to. And that goes back, I believe, to, Mr. Canali. I think when they switched from Joe
Right,
Crow,
some things like that.
I think to Mr. Hershenko,
We're gonna have to
actually.
vote on that,
Yeah,
unlimited, on that. We don't need to vote on the 30 to 20. That's just a typo, and you just correct that $30 to $20. So when this resolution comes up, we have to amend preferred customer program to, do you have any problem with that? Membership program? No. You want to just change it right now? Okay, can we change?
Wait a minute, can I have a question? Unlimited pass program is going to be called what? Just membership program?
A membership
just a
pass program.
membership, yep.
We call it a membership. Anybody got a problem with that? Anybody? A membership pass program?
Can you say unlimited membership pass program?
Really membership.
I,
And the thing with unlimited in there is it's not technically unlimited. Because it's limited they have to pay extra time for
the
weekend and
only,
holiday, so.
the
This
other
weekend
difference
and
with
holiday morning.
the other
Yeah, oh, I
difference-
know, but I just
Yeah,
think
the
you
other
say
difference with
unlimited.
unlimited is they can play Saturdays and Sundays in holidays during non-prime time
Right.
without that fee.
Without that, yeah,
$500 people, they pay that $20
They
fee
pay
at all.
$20
Anytime
per
they
round.
play.
anytime they
So
play.
there's a difference there, but those key tee times are what members have always covered as well as non-members, because that's when you go golfing.
Yeah.
So it's a value. I don't have anything to say, but again, it's,
I mean, no,
So you want membership program?
Sure.
membership program.
Membership program, Cal?
do you want to address anything about, the unlimited pass program not being available to, why did we do that in the first place? Is that with
Okay,
this
yeah,
new
why-
model?
Why don't you explain that, Scott? Why do you have in here, the unlimited pass program is only available to current unlimited or trail pass holders or members. If you choose not to be an unlimited pass program participant next year, then you will not be eligible to participate in this program in the future. So in other words, it's a 1 year offer. That's what you're saying?
Right, so the people that are currently members, okay,
Yes.
they deserve to have that program going forward. I think there are financial limitations in that program if you wind up having another 80 people that join and can play unlimited golf because the cost per round is low on that. It takes up a volume of tee times. The people that currently enjoy that privilege have earned that privilege. But going forward, the financial model is more stable when those people no longer golf at Muni. It's more stable to have a more fee-based program.
Let me understand this. So what you're saying, basically, what Kelly is saying, is you are really catering to the members with this grant, with this clause right here. You're catering
We
to,
had the town hall meeting that came forward that a lot of people felt that what was put out there was cost prohibitive. So we went back, we revisited it, had multiple conversations.
so Kelly,
It
this
came out with a
right here.
program that was $1,500. Somebody can play 7 days a week, all year for $1,500. The only time they would pay an extra fee would be Saturday and Sunday mornings. They pay the same $20 fee as a new preferred customer.
So by having this in this clause, you're really catering to the members. That's what
The
you're
whole
doing.
idea was just it
But
would,
you're boxing out anyone else from coming back.
So
Or
that's the
utilizing
question,
this
that's the
later when
question
it
we should
better
ask.
benefits them.
The question we should ask is if someone, a member, for some medical reason or whatever, cannot.
I think that's entirely different than if they leave and want to come back and get it back again. If they,
Okay.
you can easily
you see
create
that?
an appeals process where if somebody takes a leave of absence, they could be
That's
reinstated
what I'm
in that
talking about.
program.
We should not penalize.
I mean,
I don't know that we have to, make them ask for something like that. I mean, how many people are playing for less than $20 a round? I don't remember, 160 members, you said you have, right?
Sorry, did you say that again?
You have 160 members, is that what you said?
Approximately.
Okay,
yes.
how many people are playing for less than $20 a round?
You probably have somewhere in the 20-person range doing it
So only 20.
out of 160.
That's not, I don't think that's a large amount of people.
Right, but then.
I
you
mean,
have-
my husband's played like 20 times this year,
I know,
and he's
yeah.
paid the full
And then-
amount,
and
and I
then
think
you have-
that
you have-
fits more
You have
often.
another larger group of people that cost per round played is under $25. So when I just look at the market value of your golf course, that's low. The people that are currently enjoying it have earned that. But I don't know that that's a good financial model to recruit another 100 people. First off, would be more competition for tee times with all of the current people that have earned the privilege. So that's why I think a fee-based program is more beneficial, the $500 program with $20 a pay.
But we're not anywhere near that point of filling up all our tea times.
Just
Well,
on
on
the
weekend
Saturday
mornings you do.
hours.
Right, but not on
You
the weekends.
fill
and
them
weekdays.
up and we don't generate a sufficient enough amount of revenue on those morning tee times. That's not all because of unlimited members, it's also because we're going into the last year of a cart lease program and we have an insufficient fleet.
Right,
But we only, on an average weekend, we only optimize 6 to 9 tee times that we get full price for. That's not nearly enough. Those weekend mornings, a lot of them we take in less than $2,000. So you need weekend mornings to be your prime earning
but I
time.
feel like you're balancing that out by charging people the $20 for those times, in some ways.
In some ways,
Not really.
not completely.
No, not really. All right,
Okay, it
we
says
need
we
to
gotta
have, we need
go
to
into
get
session,
started.
we're gonna be talking more about this, these, we
Yeah,
got public
public
hearings, we've gone those.
Go ahead. Public hearing, Mary.
So
You got five watch.
Stretch your legs.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
Okay, the public hearing is open. This is, Community
So
Development Block
do I
Grant
need to stick around?
Yes, please.
for 2023 program year. And this is a CDBG grant in the amount of $898,400 that was awarded to the city of Amsterdam in 2021 to make improvements at the city of water treatment plant to reduce corrosivity of the city's water supply.
Anybody in public want to talk about that grant? Nick? Go right ahead.
We're holding this second public hearing because it's a requirement of the Community Development Block Grant Program. So that's, the project is essentially complete at this point. Construction activities are done, but they're basically testing and firing up the new system. fairly complex process. You can't just shut the water treatment plant down while you hook up the new system. You gotta keep the flow of water going while it's happening. And hopefully this month, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we should be done with that project.
Thank you.
We're in commissioning now. The switch over from soda, or to soda ash, from caustic soda and lime, pretty much complete. And some teething troubles, but it's working.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any questions?
Okay, public hearing closed. Move on to the next one.
Thank you, Nick.
Public hearing is now open for proposed ordinance D of 2023 to be known as ordinance 4 of 2023 if adopted. This is an ordinance modifying section 47-20 of the Amsterdam City Code relating to credit cards and purchasing cards.
Anybody from the public want to talk about purchasing credit cards for each department head? Make our expenses more accountable. No? Okay, thank you. Close. Next.
Sorry. Public hearing is now open for proposed ordinance E of 2023. This is an ordinance modifying chapter 171 of the Amsterdam City Code pertaining to peddler application requirements.
Anybody want to talk about a peddler permit application? Okay, thank you. Close.
One more, sorry.
One more.
Sorry. Public hearing is now open on proposed local law B of 2023 to be known as local law 2 of 2023 if adopted. A local law adjusting compensation of the mayor of the city of Amsterdam pursuant to C-15 of the city charter to $65,000.
Okay, this is on the compensation for the mayor. The mayor's salary has been increased by $10,000, of which $5,000 of that would be in this year's budget, $5,000 next year. Anyone have any comments? I'll talk about the mayor. Okay, thank you. Public hearing is closed. Okay.
Meeting order. Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderwoman Quist here. Alderman Z. Camula.
Here.
Alderwoman Collins. Here. Alderman S. Camula.
Here.
Alderman Marcelo.
Here. I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda with one consent.
Alderman Marcelo.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist
Aye.
Alderman D. Camula.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman S. Camula.
We have no proclamations this evening, communications and presentations, anything. Public participation. This is the part of our meeting where the people who have come here in the gallery can speak their minds. So you come to the podium, state your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm Jordan Myers, 16 Elver Street, Amsterdam. I'm here to talk about the golf course. Scott's proposal is good. I am happy that the $20 instead of $30. I understand the need for tee times on the weekend, which is a high rate, but right now, he doesn't have enough carts. Why he doesn't have enough carts? You need 10 more carts? There's gotta be a place to get carts from somewhere. It seems odd that you can't rent them from someone. And at $220 a tee time, times, you've got 10 tee times, that's 4 people on Saturday and Sunday, then 80 tee times. 80 tee times comes out to $88,000 a year we're missing by not having those tee times, they're blocked, because we don't have 10 carts. There's revenue right there. I don't know why they're not happening. And the other part is, I want to talk about this calculation of the high use, and high use people are only paying 20 or 15 or whatever they are. I pay a water fee, a garbage fee, and a sewer fee. I live by myself, and I get out 1 piece of garbage. My next door neighbor puts out 6. They use 6 times as much resources that I do. Is that taken into consideration? Absolutely is not. It's insulting. That's what memberships are made of. Memberships to Planet Fitness, they don't care if you go there 25 times a week or you go there none. That's what memberships are. It's insulting. But I do like the fact that the rates are gonna be what they're gonna be. But one thing I gotta say is, the unlimited, the grandfather clause has to go away, period. Because if you've got a problem where you get 80 new people that wanna be in unlimited, that's $120,000 more a year in revenue, and you're gonna say no. So, and you're not gonna get 80, but if you did, that's a good problem to have. And the main thing I wanna keep it open to everyone is, somebody moves into town and they like this place, they like this course. You're not gonna let them join or let them join with their family? That's telling new residents, that's just insulting them. It can't be unlimited, it can't be grandfathered in at all. We're customers, that's what we are, is customers, and we're treated like dirt sometimes. And have to have an amendment to the resolution, to keep it called membership, it's insulting. And it doesn't end. But, and also, I forgot about the marketing. You get the money for the membership, I get it. But like I've told you before, and I told you at the time meeting, this course does no marketing. He sends out emails. If you're not on the email list, you don't get it. So we need to grow our business from the capital district. We're not gonna get it from the people who go to Foxtrot and Hells Mills. But we need outside play. In order to get outside play, we need to be on the capital district golf round card and the umpire card. We were on the umpire card before, and for some reason, we're not even on that anymore. We should be on both. Most of these deals for the cards cost $30 for the card to buy. I buy one myself every year, and you only get $10 off your green fee. For $10 to get people to come in here, and instead of paying $55, they get to pay $45 for that one time, and they like the course, and they keep on coming back on that. You can't throw that away. That's promoting the course, that's getting outside play. And again, I'm gonna harp again, I said it before, social media. We need to have a golf pro and a PJ consultant, and I don't care who, contact Amsterdam Tourism and Advanced Amsterdam and put everything we got going on the websites. His emails can only reach so many people. Social media is free, and social media, you just expound and expound and expound how far you go. And I don't know what the whole is on that. You know, we're talking about getting revenue, and what the main goal right now is, how can we get the members to pay more? And I got no problem paying more. But this course can't exist unless you do the thing to get the outside play in here. And I don't know when it's gonna happen, but that's a bigger thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else like to speak? Okay, thank you very much. Oh, yes.
Nate, so just as far as the golf cart, because we did explore that this year, we have a bound contract with our current lease. Anything we spend over $20,000 has to go out to a bid. So to get a fleet of carts, additional carts, you have two choices: go out to bid, or you can rent them. So I explored renting carts for the season. The only company willing to rent to us would be the one we have a current agreement with, and that was gonna be $50 per cart per day. And we couldn't pick and choose days. We can have them shipped in for a tournament, but if you wanted their unlimited disposal, it was 50 carts a day. So 10 carts would cost us $500 a day for every day we had in there, whether we were gonna be able to use them or not. So
Reach out to any other courses and see if they have spare cards you could rent from them.
we're not gonna rent carts from other courses. We'll rent them from a vendor with a maintenance record, but I'm not gonna just rent junk carts from other courses.
So the potential of $88,000 a year, you're going to take a shot at that.
No, we're gonna get a fleet of carts in there.
No, but this year you could have done that.
I don't. I think you're gonna read in the future, we're gonna buy these carts.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, I understand that, but we're coming out how much money we're losing. And I can show you we're not making money, we shouldn't be.
All right.
Thank you. Right. Next.
Anybody else? Nobody else, so we're on to the controller's report. Louise?
I just wanted to mention that I give all the council members a draft copy of the audit response that we're required to submit to the state controller's office by September 23rd. I was hoping that each of you could take between now and the next meeting to review it, make sure you're satisfied with the content. Let me know if there are any recommendations, revisions, edits that you'd like to make. Once we're all satisfied with the content, then the next meeting, I have a cover sheet that we need to include that will require everyone's signature. It has to come from the local government, not myself or the mayor. It's gonna come from the local government, so I'll request everyone's signature at the next meeting. Hopefully, we'll be able to send this out the next day. And then we'll have another audit response due in a 2 more weeks.
Has every council member seen the audit and gone through the audit? We did not do that in a council session, but I you should know that, you know, each one of these points, what was said about it, et cetera, and how we're responding to it, because we didn't have any questions on it. But, and we could have a more formal presentation on it if you felt that was needed, but I don't see anybody shaking their head that they don't
I read it,
understand.
I'm fine with it. I'm very satisfied that you did this, it hasn't been done before, thank you very much.
But just so you need to tie in what we need to do with what's wrong, and it's very important that we
But I also
understand.
see here that, we have already started a lot of these things.
Many of these were started, before the auditor even gave us the report. Exactly. But again, we are definitely, moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had to write we've had to sign things in the past about what the auditor said, but yeah,
Right.
nothing's been this comprehensive. So you're taking the lead on the recreation one as well? Okay, and that we have like probably till October for, let's see,
I can't remember the
July.
exact date, my apologies, but it came
Now it's-
about a month later.
Yeah,
Than the
so
last
90
one.
days and somewhere in July, right, is when the final one came out.
We're still actively going through records and reconciling, so I'll probably have 3-4 more weeks, she'll be getting a corrective action plan for that review as well, that audit review as well.
Anything else for the control?
And we can give any kind of feedback for
Oh, sure.
that ahead of time.
You can call me, email me, stop in.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Mike Clark to give us his engineering report. This past week, we had some outstanding news on the wastewater treatment plant financing, and Michael confirmed it at a meeting. Mike, why don't you tell us what's happening there?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone. I will be briefer than normal. As the mayor mentioned, the Environmental Facilities Corporation of New York State released the intended use plan for clean water. As you recall, we've been working now for 3 years at least to get together a wastewater treatment plant upgrade and get it funded. This year's intended use plan has our $17.5 million project listed on it. We are eligible for state revolving fund and more importantly, or just as importantly, bipartisan infrastructure law principal forgiveness for the 50% of the state revolving fund money. And also, let us not forget that we still have $4.3 million in WIA grant. What that all means ultimately is that after we fund this project, we use the WIA grant, we complete the work, use the state revolving fund money to pay for the project. Bipartisan, the BIL money will pay back 50% of the $17.5 million. Leaving the city with a long-term debt to finance at 0%. And I think that's a key point, it's at 0%. We continue to have hardship financing through EFC, we're qualified for it. A long-term debt of about $4.45 million. That still sounds like a lot of money, but if you look at that just briefly, if you look at that at 20 years, at 0%, and with respect to, and this is key, with respect to its impact on our annual sewer use flat rate, it's roughly $13.26 per rate, or at 20 years, I may have said that backward, 30 years is $13.26, 20 years is $19.87 to complete a
We can actually carry it out to
$17
$40
million upgrade.
We can do it to 40 if we wanted to, right?
You could go to
We'll do it at 40 at 0%. And the other thing, Mike, is we still have one little iron in the fire with the next round on.
That's correct, Mayor. We did, in the end of July, we applied, once again for the Water Quality Improvement Program grant. The application had been prepared from other years. We had the report already approved, so it didn't cost us anything to resubmit. We'll see what happens there, but at presently, this $17.5 million project is essentially funded through 75% grant. It's a tough deal to beat in
It
this
can be,
lifetime.
it's incredible news for our city, and it makes a project that was cost prohibitive, which we were searching for ways to get performance-oriented agreements in place. It really takes us to the next generation of the plant at a fantastic price, so it's great news. And the bipartisan infrastructure law was really the key factor in that, so we thank everyone who supported that legislation. Anything else, Mike? Go ahead.
We're responsible for the 4.4 million.
Ultimately, we would, our share of that 17.5 would be 4.459 million based on the current project budget
At 0%.
at 0%.
Amazing.
Mayor, can we complete the agenda, then come back to this?
Complete the agenda?
Yeah.
All right.
Then we'll come back.
Is there a reason why you want to do that?
Well, I want to just get the agenda done, then we can talk what we want.
Okay, so you want to vote on the resolution?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're on the minutes, of the last Common Council.
Yeah, no old business, correct? Okay, so we'll go on to the resolution.
Resolution 2324-39, resolution adopting the minutes of the last common council meeting by Alderman Marticello.
So moved.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quist Morris.
Aye.
Alderman Dean Camilla.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla.
All right. Next one is the golf amendment.
Resolution 2324-40, resolution approving the golf course fees and rates for the Amsterdam Municipal Golf Course 2023 season by Alderman Marticello.
So moved. It is,
Well,
there's an amendment,
yes.
one amendment. We already changed the customers. Can we do that, Mike, without an amendment, or we gotta do the whole amendment? The first, on the rates,
From 30 to 20.
Yeah, 30 to 20 we have to, right?
all right,
So
Amend the
amendment
rate
is we're making that
20.
30 to 20
from 30 to 20.
for the unlimited.
Alderman Quist is gonna
So
sponsor
both will
that.
be equal to 20 now instead of the 30.
Okay,
So
and what about the
changing
language
it.
on membership?
Well, we're going to do one amendment at a time.
One minute and one amendment at a
Sorry.
time. We're gonna first do the 30 hour.
Okay,
But where would that get? Because it says copy the proposed rates and fees being attached here to and being incorporated reference, so
That would be,
You would,
we would.
you would amend the rate schedule fee.
Tony's saying we need to amend the rate schedule.
Right, but where would we, what would it be, whereas, or it's just, you just pass an
We're
amendment?
voting on the
Okay.
amendment right now, and then it becomes.
Do I have it wrong? Is that what you're trying to do?
Right.
Trying to keep just 30 to 20?
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, so we're doing these 3 separate ways?
It seems we are.
All right, so I'd like to propose an amendment to change
But let's, okay,
the,
so we're gonna vote on 3 amendments in a row.
Yes,
we
Okay,
can lump them all in together and say yes.
30 to 20 is one.
one at a time.
2 is
members.
members refer to lifetime, whatever they call them, pass
Limited
holders.
pass program to membership program.
Okay.
And then the second one is to remove the grandfather clause or that's what I call it, but
It's the legacy.
the eligibility
It's the
clause,
legacy.
legacy
You wanna
clause,
remove it entirely.
So where?
can always be added in the future.
Where
Okay,
do we
but
eliminate it?
do you know what that is?
Yes.
You're all set, okay.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It's the legacy clause, it's not grandfather clause.
The bolds, well, I guess other people will
Over
be,
here at the bottom?
The
yeah.
bottom in the bold type.
I mean, it's something that we can always add back in should we get an influx of members that
So.
we can't handle.
So we're changing unlimited pass program to membership program?
Mhm.
So then
That
all
will
of
not,
those,
right.
whatever is listed here has to take that out and put it
Right.
in within the paragraph.
There is my discussion on the First Amendment.
First amendment, we're gonna have a discussion.
Discussion. Changing what the golf commission and what our golf consultant has done. I'm not in favor of any amendment except for the 21, because this comes from the commission, and it comes from our consultant, and it comes from the golf club. And who am I, and I'm just speaking for myself, I'm not gonna change their hard work. I'm gonna change, yes, $30 to $20, because it's been recommended. But I'm not gonna change preferred customer program. I'm not in favor of changing unlimited pass program. I think it's self-explanatory. I really do. So,
I'd like to point out that the golf commission is supposed to have 5 people on it. It currently only has 4 and 1 person was not at the meeting. So I don't know that it fully represents what the golf commission
how about the
would
golf?
want, and there's been plenty of years where we've overridden.
How about the
golf
golf pro and the
commission.
golf consultant? Does that make any difference? All right. First Amendment, what is it?
Okay, from $30 to $20.
Okay,
Alderman Martello?
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars?
Aye.
Alderman Deaconmore?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins? Aye. Alderman Esposito?
Aye.
Second
Second
Amendment
Amendment.
is changing unlimited pass program to membership program, and all the continuing language throughout that one paragraph, changing unlimited pass program to membership program.
Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Since the commission created this, should we have them should we go back to them and ask them and tell them, Kelly, your concerns about the title, and have them vote on it and say, yes, we want to change it, no, we don't want to change it?
The only thing I'm gonna bring into this discussion was 3 years ago, Kevin Canale told me there was a problem, and I wanna say law-wise, legal-wise, of calling them members. I don't know if that's true or not. That's the only reason I can think of that has to be, but I'm all, I don't know if you know anything about that.
No, but when I reviewed your golf charter and your bylaws, it said there are 2 types of customers. There's a green fee paying customer and an annual fee paying customer.
Okay, so you have no problem with us changing the annual fee paying customers to members?
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem to be like,
This is getting ridiculous. This is a word, membership over unlimited. This is just,
That's the amendment.
but it's not
Go ahead.
ridiculous to the people who,
people need to just,
With all due respect, the only comment I would make is it is a public golf course. It is not a country club.
Right.
And so I think that was the intent in looking at the bylaws, why it didn't say members and greens fees. It said annual fee payer and green fee payer. That's, but
My whole
I'm not
point
opposed. I'm
is,
just
my whole
pointing out.
point is you can call them members up there. I really, I don't, but it's, let's vote on the amendment.
I mean, if it doesn't matter, and it's just a word, but people have said
So
to
why
us,
change it?
our constituents have said to us, I would like to be called a member. I don't see any reason to deny them that. For any reason that, especially when members, it's not an odd name. I'm a member of the Bronx
that's
Zoo.
fine, let's have one.
Who's moving then?
I'm
Good, thanks. Alderwoman Quistamars?
Aye.
Alderman Deaconmore?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins?
Aye.
Alderman Esposito?
No.
And Alderman Martello?
no,
Amendment number 3.
Amendment number 3 is removing the
Legacy clause.
legacy clause.
And I will make that amendment, or I would make that motion.
Okay, Alderwoman Quistamars?
Aye.
What's this
Are
about?
there any questions in favor?
Yeah, I'm lost on this. What are we changing?
We now do not permit people who stop the lifetime, the membership, okay?
Yeah,
From rejoining that level. And the
so
reasons,
then they would have to go back in and do just like anyone off the street, $500 and $20.
or if they become a Greens Fee member. Now, there are, do you want to say anything on this again?
Sorry, so what was the question? It's hard to hear.
Well, we're talking about the impact that this might have.
Yep.
If we get rid of it entirely.
Yeah, so the intention was that, with everyone on the commission except for one person, the feeling was that this program of having unlimited memberships presents challenges, as a business model going forward. And so everybody that is currently in that program would be eligible to continue. Should someone decide to leave or not partake of that program, they would not be able to jump back into it in the future. And anybody that is a new person that wants to be loyal to Muni would have to join the $500 program with a $20 fee and would not be able to join as a unlimited member.
so I find this contradictory. 1 minute we're calling everybody members, and you wanna protect the members by passing this, but you wanna take it out to let the floodgates open up and let everybody else you want in. But yet, by having this, you reduce the number of people, which gives you more tea times for the people who are members. So why would you wanna remove this? All you're doing is you're letting, am I right, Scott?
How does your budget, how are you budgeting now then for your startup costs if you don't have memberships? If you're gonna decrease memberships to nothing, what are we gonna do in the spring when people say, well, we need money to start the golf course? Do you have that somehow?
Well, that's the fourth quarter of your fiscal year. You have a lot of money that you have from the fiscal year that you have accumulated from July, August, September, October. I mean, other than the 1 year scenario with a transitional program that you might have a 1 year shortfall in an influx, it would balance out after that. Your startup costs are not more significant in the spring. I mean, your payroll is a weekly payroll. Your agreement with Brightview is a monthly retainer. So there's no massive upfront expense to start up the golf course in the spring.
Well, that's not what we're normally have been told in the spring. I mean, we've been told we just have to transfer $5,000 here and $5,000 there. And so until the memberships come in, that's always the
Yeah, I
magic
think,
time.
as mayor, I'm gonna recommend that we not change it, at this point. We go with what, Scott and the golf commission have set up. I want, of course, there to be, a process by which somebody who lost their membership for financial reasons could come to the commission for a hardship case.
Sure.
But again, I
that's very
think,
reasonable.
you know, the bottom line here is we are making more money from green space than we've ever made before. It's the meat and potatoes of our golf course. And we're, in this new $500 program permits new, whatever you wanna call them, for joining the course under a different model, which will help us maintain those weekend rates. So I'm gonna recommend, as mayor, that we not change the grandfather clause. I think they deserve a grandfather clause. I think we need to be more merciful with it, but I don't recommend we change it.
So one of the things coming from the country club world, I can go back to the commission and say, we need to create a leave of absence policy.
Correct.
Somebody that has a financial hardship or an injury or a traumatic family event that would mean that they would want to take a year off from joining could file a leave of absence
Correct.
and be reinstated to their membership when they're able to.
That sounds good.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on the amendment. This is to remove the grandfather clause entirely if you vote yes. It's to keep it the same way if you don't vote.
Alderman Quistamars.
Is that right? Wait,
I thought the motion was to remove.
that's right. That's what I just said.
The motion to remove,
Vote yes.
it's a motion to remove. If you vote yes, it's gone.
Remove it. Right,
You
that's
vote
what I said.
no, it
Oh,
stays.
That's okay. That's
If you
right.
vote no, it stays. That's what the pro American.
Correct.
Alderman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman D. Gula.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
No,
Alderman Espinola. No. Alderman Marticello.
No,
Okay, that stays the same.
resolution as amended.
Resolution as amended.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. Call roll.
Mayor, I may for just 1 second. I just want to quickly say to Kelly Quistamone, there was never an intent to make somebody feel disrespected. I was going by what was in your charter and your bylaws and making sure that I referred to people as I saw it done in the charter and bylaws. So there was never an intent to offend people. In fact, we've tried to elevate the service they get. So just wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
you too. Thank you for your time.
Okay, as amended, Alderwoman Quistamars. Aye. Alderman D. Gula.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins. Oh, sorry. Alderman Espinola.
We're voting on the
We're
resolution.
voting on the amended resolution.
The whole thing.
We changed one thing and it's two
The
things.
rates and everything. Aye.
I need subtitles, please.
All right,
Okay,
so we're now on the,
I do have one thing I want to add on the golf course before we
okay, go ahead.
We do need to market it better than we have done. We need to, I don't know what it is, but Mr. Mars is absolutely correct. We need to put this on social media more than,
Mary, and I agree with Alderman and Mr. Mark, they make a good point. We pay that company Advanced Amsterdam a lot of money. Unless somebody can contact them, please.
Well, Mr. Demars has brought that up to Mr. Warren before, and he said he has his own list.
Well,
And he
No,
doesn't
he
need
needs
to
help.
talk to.
well, we need help, so.
We need to get it
We
into
just
the
adjusted
city's,
the
stream.
Thank
And, we're trying to work on that.
Okay, next.
Resolution 2324-41, resolution authorizing the mayor to execute contract with the Greater Amsterdam School District for school resource officer by Alderwoman Collins. Whereas the Greater Amsterdam School District desires to maintain the presence of a uniformed police officer at Lynch Literacy Academy to enhance security and help keep order at the school. Whereas the city of Amsterdam wishes to enter into a one-year contract for the 23-24 school year for the amount of $74,671, which is the full cost to the city for employing an officer during the 167-day school year. The school district will pay for any additional time beyond the 167 days. Whereas Alderwoman Collins. Aye. Alderman Escamilla.
I have a question.
Yes, David, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's gonna get 74, or she's gonna get 74 plus his regular pay?
Again, and we've got Police Chief Thomas here. The question is, they're gonna get paid what it costs us to provide that officer.
That's his salary, which includes his benefits
It includes
for that
benefits and
time
everything.
period.
So he's not getting 70, or they're not getting 74,000. That's the entire cost of that officer for that
For
time,
that school year.
for that school year.
Now, should that officer get overtime, regular overtime, we
And
would
we're
pay that.
paying,
No,
No,
who's paying?
school district.
The school district is reimbursing the city.
Is reimbursing the city.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now, go ahead.
Alderman Marcelo.
aye,
Alderwoman Christomars.
Aye.
And Alderman Deakin.
All right.
Okay, now we're on to,
43.
42. Resolution 2324-42, resolution approving memorandum of agreement between the City of Amsterdam and the CSEA Local 1000, AFSCME AFL-CIO, Amsterdam Wastewater Facility Unit by Mayor Cinquanti.
So moved.
Alderman Marcelo.
Aye,
Alderwoman Quist Demars.
Aye.
Alderman Deakin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla.
Aye.
A resolution 2324-43, resolution appointing Louise Byron to fill vacancy of city controller by Alderwoman Quist Demars. Whereas a vacancy in the position of city controller was created through the previous resignation of Matthew Agresta, and whereas the city previously engaged Louise Byron as a consultant in the department of the city controller with the ultimate goal of appointing Ms. Byron as the city controller upon the completion of modification of Public Officers Law Section 3, as Ms. Byron is a resident of the county of Fulton. Whereas the city seeks to fill vacancy through an appointment of Louise Byron pursuant to Section C17 of the city charter. And whereas the modification of Public Officers Law, Section 3 has been completed and signed into law, and Ms. Byron otherwise holds the qualifications to fill the vacancy created by Mr. Agresta's resignation. Whereas the listed appointment is effective through the end of the prior city controller's term, that said date being included December 31st, 2023. And whereas pursuant to C15 of the city charter, the salaries and compensation of employees of the city of appointive officers shall be fixed by the common council. Whereas to date, Ms. Byron has worked for a consultant of the city with prorated compensation equaling $100,000 per year. Whereas upon appointment to controller, the compensation and salary for Ms. Byron shall remain the same and shall be based upon a prorated salary of $100,000 per year. Whereas the city is desirous to fill the aforementioned vacancy with the appointment of Louise Byron. Therefore, be it resolved that Louise Byron is hereby appointed to fill the vacancy of the city controller pursuant to Section C17 of the city charter. And be it further resolved that pursuant to Section C15 of the city charter, the salary and compensation shall be based upon the prorated salary of $100,000 per year.
I need to amend this. Because my understanding is Ms. Byron is a resident of Amsterdam now, right?
So you're talking about the third,
So
whereas.
the second whereas,
So.
right? Or do we keep that the
I think I'm just
same?
gonna keep that.
I believe there's two amendments that need to be made.
Okay,
In the second whereas paragraph, No, the second whereas
That-
paragraph
that is
stays the
correct.
same. It stays the same.
Okay, because she was
Talking about the
consultant
history.
because of that, that's the history.
The fourth whereas paragraph, where it says, quote, modification of public officers law section 3 is completed, signed into law, and, unquote, that needs to be stricken. So the fourth paragraph would then thereby read, whereas the aspirant otherwise holds the qualifications to fill the vacancy created by Mr. Weston.
Okay,
I would ask that someone please consider making that motion.
all right, I will make that motion.
Got that?
I do, so taking out the modification of public officers
Do we
law.
need to vote on that amendment now?
Yes.
Please vote on that amendment now.
That was the only one? Okay. Alderwoman Christomars?
Aye.
Alderman D. Camula?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins? Alderman S. Camula? Alderman
Aye.
Westmore? As amended, Alderwoman Christomars?
Wait. Is there another amendment? That's it for the whole resolution?
That's it, yep.
So we're gonna vote as resolution as amended.
Right.
Yes.
Alderwoman Christomars?
Aye.
Alderman D. Camula?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins? Alderman S. Camula? Alderman Marcelo?
Aye.
Congratulations, Ms. Byron.
Thank you all. Resolution 2324-44, resolution authorizing public safety mutual aid agreement with law enforcement agencies within Montgomery County by Alderwoman Collins. Alderwoman Collins? Aye. Alderman S. Camula?
Aye.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderwoman Christomars?
I just have a question, because we didn't talk
I
about
was
it
gonna say question, but here's.
previously. Chief, have we done this before, or is this a new mutual aid?
Yes.
Okay.
You already got a new chief, Chief Ray Renzi from the Amsterdam Police Department. Brian McFadden retired from there, so we're renewing this agreement.
Perfect, sounds good, I just wasn't sure if it was a brand new or a,
Oh, we've done it
Okay.
before.
thank you, aye.
Thanks. And Alderman D. Camula?
Aye.
Yes. Resolution 2324-45, resolution authorizing a 5-year contract with New York State Unified Court System by Alderwoman Collins. Whereas, by way of background, Amsterdam City Court is located at the Public Safety Building located at 1 Guy Park Avenue, said building being owned by the City of Amsterdam. Whereas, the annexed agreement is a 5-year contract retroactive to the date of April 1st, 2023, between the City of Amsterdam and the New York State Unified Court System relating to interior cleaning, minor repairs, and preventative building and property maintenance services for court facilities. Whereas a copy of the contract is attached here too, with the payment and reimbursement provisions being set forth in Section 7 and Appendix B, and is hereby resolved that the attached contract with New York State Unified Court System is hereby authorized.
Chief, do you want to say anything on this?
Again, this is another renewal. We do it every 5 years. This includes the office space that they rent from the city. It includes the maintenance of a part-time position and percentage of a full-time position, and it also includes other repairs to the building that are emergency repairs. They get a certain percentage of that. So this is a renewal that they do every 5 years. This isn't anything.
What about utilities, Chief? Is utilities?
No, all this is included in that. They don't have a separate bill. But they have their own stuff. They have their own phone lines. They pay for that. Their fiber optic, they pay for all that on their own.
Okay, anybody have questions?
How much is it?
Irene? The agreement is attached. The agreement attached.
Yes. By email.
It isn't attached to that, it's attached to the email.
Mhm.
Or to the,
That's the one that's for the heirs. So much of reimbursement for that, so much of reimbursement for that right there.
Same amount, Chief, as last time?
I believe it's a little more. I can't remember what the previous contract was.
Can we amend this to add the amount that we're going to be getting?
You can't, I mean,
Cannot? Okay,
I
I'm
mean,
just asking.
well, let me say it this way. When I drafted the resolution, I attempted to do that very thing.
Okay.
And the way the reimbursement mechanism is too complicated to spell it out, really. That's why I refer to the section of the agreement where it's set forth.
then it's a
It's
5-year
not
contract.
fixed, it's certainly, there's some
Oh,
variables.
okay,
Right.
no problem. Okay,
And we can't really negotiate it, they're just gonna give us what they're gonna give us, right?
so moved.
Thanks. Alderwoman Collins?
Aye.
Alderman S. Camula?
Aye.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderwoman Christomars?
Aye.
Alderman D. Camula?
Aye.
Okay.
Resolution 23-24-46, resolution approving the audit by Alderwoman Collins. Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Deakin. Resolution 23-24-47, consent resolution authorizing amendment to contracts for sale of 6 parcels to JAA 1 Properties Corp. by Alderwoman Collins.
So moved. Oh, just read the property, the first whereas.
Whereas the Common Council having previously passed Resolution 22-23-292 regarding the prospective sale of 6 parcels of land to JAA 1 Properties Corp., namely 24 J Street, 30 Klein Street, 33 J Street, 42 Union Street, 29 Wilson Avenue, and 23 Henry Street.
So moved.
Alderwoman Collins?
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla?
No.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars?
Aye.
And Alderman Deakin.
Aye.
Ordinance D of 2023 to be known as Ordinance 4 of 2023 if adopted. This is an ordinance modifying section 47-20 of the Amsterdam City Code relating to credit cards and purchasing cards by Alderman Marticello.
So moved.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Deakin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla.
Aye.
Ordinance E to be known as Ordinance 5 of 2023 if adopted. This is an ordinance modifying Chapter 171 of the Amsterdam City Code pertaining to peddler application requirements by Alderwoman Quistamars.
So moved.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Deakin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Local Law B of 2023 to be known as Local Law 2 of 2023 if passed. This is a local law adjusting compensation of the mayor of the city of Amsterdam pursuant to C-15 of the city charter by Alderperson Quistamars.
So moved.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Deakin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Escamilla.
Aye.
And Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Yes.
Michael, would you like to finish your report, sir?
Sure.
Okay, I discussed the wastewater treatment plant, road program in September. They plan to be in here next week and button this thing up. They have
Next week, is that a
September.
certain date, Mike, or is?
The last thing I heard was September 11th. I talked to him Wednesday of last week or
Okay.
Tuesday. There should be no difficulty wrapping this thing up. They're still well within the contract now.
Can I just jump
Yeah.
in? So, this was a great program because we had kind of 2-year contract, right, almost?
Mhm.
So are we gonna get started on that early, bidding for next year,
Oh, I'm
or?
glad you asked, because that's exactly my thinking, is I would really like to, by the end of this calendar year, get authorization to bid for next year's road program in December. And do it with an option to extend
Yeah.
for a year with the requisite price adjustments for fuel and asphalt that are stated by DOT.
Now, if we had had the rain this season and started as late as we normally do, we wouldn't have gotten done what we got done, do you think?
Fortunately, we didn't.
Right, but
We
you can
started
imagine
early.
that, right?
Rain is always a problem when you're paving, and we did a whole bunch early on. By the time it's done, we will have had spent $2 million putting it into our street and paving infrastructure, so it's no small fee. And I would say that I really hope, fingers crossed, that we get that same level of funding again next year. A couple more years like that, and the city will be well on its way to being caught up in terms of payment life cycle.
We've, already heard from constituents about roads for next year, which you can imagine.
And that's fine, and I think that's great.
Again, like, while it's fresh, it's like fresh in their mind now, so it's great if we're keeping track of that.
Mike,
Okay,
what else you
keep
got?
going.
We had a pre-construction meeting for the transmission line clearing. They're gonna start as soon as the weather gets cold. They expect to knock that entire project out in 90 calendar days, 60 working days. I think that's pretty aggressive, but it wouldn't surprise me. lead service line replacements, that work is underway now. And I would expect that to be done by the beginning of December, based on the 47 total services we have to do. I mentioned earlier, the corrosion control optimization project, we're in commissioning. We have switched over to our new chemicals to provide a better buffer for alkalinity. What that means for anybody that is bored with me using these terms is that it will make our water less corrosive in the future. And again, it's naturally corrosive. It's Adirondack water. The pH is always going to be below 7. What the use of soda ash is, it's more stable than the caustic soda and lime, thereby holding the pH slightly above 7, reducing the corrosivity, and most importantly, reducing the amount of uptake of free lead ions in water, which is the entire purpose of going through this $1.4 million project.
It's a huge change. It really is. Considering what we've been doing. And there's
Nobody will notice any taste.
no taste change. Remember that. There should not be any change in taste in the water. But you're gonna hear somebody say, oh my God.
Somebody will say, you know.
Put a little scotch in it. Won't even know.
I love Amsterdam water.
Anything else, Michael? You all set?
I'm all
Thank you
set.
very much. Council, anything?
Can I jump in, under correspondence, I should have mentioned this, we all got it in our mailbox, Dan Nelly is gonna have a grand opening on Thursday at 72 Lion Street, for the Lion Street Bar and Grill, kind of a grand, I don't know if he really has ever done a ribbon cutting grand opening officially, so, there'll be walkthroughs, and, we've been invited to be there from 5:30 to 6:30, and then Bobby Badfinger's Motel will be playing as well, so I think it'd be
The
great.
whole council should have got this in an email.
It was in my mailbox.
Email?
There's an email, yeah.
It's in your mailbox.
We also,
So,
we have a Tide
great
Fest
to
coming
do
up
that.
this weekend, a big day for our city, so we'll see you all there.
The city of Oleana returned our fire truck that you guys authorized
In one piece?
the lease for. Returned it all in one piece from working order on Friday last week. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Okay, put in ad the paper for release again.
I already told the guy we bought the new one from. You know, he gets calls all the time. I think they have rental or loaners.
I knew the mayor when we had him. He's a nice guy. He really is. He's a good guy. Glad, and he met him at Nikon. Glad we could help them. Thank you, Tony, for all the work you did on that.
Or you want to adjourn?
Huh?
Shall we adjourn?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Call roll.
Okay, Alderman Marcel.
Aye.
Alderwoman Christopher.
Aye.
Alderman Deacon Moore.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Tony, thank you.
Alderman Escobar.
Mayor. Thank you. Mayor. Now I have to go back in.
We are to start taking.
Oh, yeah.
What do you need? It's a bus.
Like, I'm not in